it? Shut it down! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it! Shut it down! If we don't get it! Shut it down! If we don't get it! Shut it down!
Hey, it's Jordan. I'm in Washington Square Park in New York City. Looks like a couple.
Looks like there's a protest going on.
Looks like there's a protest going on. I can't see, but definitely over 1,000 people, maybe even more than that. Washington Square Park is downtown. What's that, sir?
Vlogging? Or
I'm live, yeah.
Are you doing like why are you just protesting? Or are you just
No, I'm a journalist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is pretty. Dick. So, some colorful language. Let's see here. Hands up, don't shoot, they're saying. Trying to get closer. It's kind of a... Can you see? Can you see? Let me know if you can see. So there's definitely a few thousand people here in the park. A lot of young people, some old people too. Keep smashing that like button, get this up. The more people that press like, the more people that will see. It's a really big crowd, huge. And it's pretty sunny too, pretty sunny. This war was never civil. Time the essence, we spend most of it vigil, says one sign. Let me try to get it closer. So Washington Square Park is downtown New York City. It's right near New York University. You see one sign that says KKK, killer cops.
Our streets! Our streets! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd!
The New York City governor has put in a curfew for 8 o'clock tonight, but those curfews don't seem to matter much. A lot of people still out. Hopefully the microphone is working now. I just borrowed this microphone, so I hope it's working.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No justice, no peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice, no peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice, no peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice, no peace!
Let me know. Let me know if the microphone's a little better now.
No peace, fuck these racist ass police. No justice, no peace, fuck these racist ass police. No justice, no peace, fuck these racist ass police. No justice, no peace, fuck these racist.
So it seems like you have a central guy right there on the microphone. Status Coup. We're a progressive channel on YouTube. So I don't know if you can hear him because I'm kind of behind, but it's a lot of people here. A lot of people here. So they're calling for a medic for somebody. So they're calling for a doctor for somebody. I don't know what happened.
No, we need a doctor now. I gotta go get my.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so quite the unified crowd. Quite the unified crowd. You see signs for Trayvon Martin right there. And I think right now they're walking to kind of the central part of the park.
No peace, no peace,
This sign is really something. I don't know if you can see it.
no peace.
It says defund the police and then KKK killer cops. All right, I turned the gain down, so hopefully that helps with the microphone. So, excuse me. Moving up, trying to get in closer to wherever the front of this is. So right here is kind of the historic backdrop of Washington Square Park, if you can see. All right, right now it's a little quieter. So there's a little, seems like a little quell right now. I think they were trying to get a medic for somebody. So let me, all right, so here is like, yeah. So they're getting a medic for somebody. I don't know what happened, but there's a circle so that the person could get a little space. Right there, you see first aid. And it's, I mean, look at these people, arms locked in a circle. You got white people, you got African Americans, Asians, Latinos. I'm not going to show the person getting medical attention because I don't know what's going on. Give them privacy. But there's definitely, by my count, I would say well over 1,000 people in this park, maybe even more than that. Washington Square Park, downtown, right near NYU campus. Right there is kind of the historic backdrop for Washington Square Park. Union Square is pretty close to here. That's where they're working on whoever's under medical distress. And obviously New York City right now is just one of, dozens and dozens of cities around the country that have been protesting for days. President Trump seems to be going full GI jackass with wanting to dispatch the military, which is obviously completely unconstitutional from my review. Did his law and order speech. By the way, this is a super chat, so support us if you can. We've had people reporting from Minneapolis. We've had people reporting from Los Angeles. Jan in D.C. still recuperating from the police going commando on her. And now I'm in New York. We got the super chat going. We also have our GoFundMe going. We're less than $4,000 away from our goal. Less than $4,000 away from our goal. Before this situation, where somebody, again, I don't know what happened. I was a little further back. Before this situation, the medical situation, this crowd was pumped. I've never seen so many people in Washington Square Park, and I've been here quite a lot. If you see that sign back there, it says KKK, Killer Cops. Let me try to zoom in. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard to shoot because I got the sun in my eyes, and a shield on. You see there's a bit of a circle going around the crowd. There's protests that have been going on every night from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Union Square, Manhattanville Bridge, Queens, the Bronx.
What is that?
We're a progressive news site online. I'm on YouTube. So,
How progressive?
how progressive? Been to Flint 15 times, covering the water crisis, Standing Rock. Is that enough for you?
What's your point? I
What's your point?
mean, well, my point is that
Yeah, I'm not sure.
are you live streaming
Yeah.
on your face?
On my YouTube channel, Status Coup. Yeah, sometimes, rightly so, a lot of people are suspicious of the press because they've been very biased and shitty to this movement. So,
Yeah, you understand, right? Rightly so.
yeah, but I'm live, so you don't have to be, yeah. So, what I was saying was, last night there was real protests going on at Manhattanville Bridge, Barclays Center, some in Union Square. There was definitely a lot of action going on around Midtown. Yeah, there was some looting, but most of the protesters and frontline protesters I've seen have been trying to stop the people who are looting. We actually saw protesters in Midtown actually going in front of stores that looters were trying to loot. So that was a good sign, because there are a lot of protesters that are trying to get in front of stores that are being looted and block the looters from doing so. Because obviously the looting, gives the media ammunition to try and distract from what the protest is really about, which is obviously the barbaric police brutality and police terrorism going on. And if you've seen, I mean, I can't even keep up on Twitter. I just saw a police officer, I think it was in Pennsylvania, kick a woman who was kneeling on the ground in the face. We saw police officers, I think they were arrested actually now, in Atlanta, drag a young black woman out of her car, literally drag her and punch her as she was in her car. I think they were arrested, if I'm correct. It's just the exact thing they're protesting we have seen on full display the last few days, with police all over the country just brutalizing protesters and journalists. So there you go. I wonder if Jen's live stream is still live streaming. No, Jen's phone is long gone, but she is still here in the super chat. Police are the foot soldiers of capitalism. So as they're giving medical attention to this person, there's still a big crowd here in Washington Square Park, and the protests around New York City have kind of been, some of them are, organized with a specific spot, but then they just kind of organically march and change direction. So it's kind of hard to tell you where they're going next. Remember to keep hitting that super chat. We appreciate all the super chats, even if I'm missing some, I apologize. The GoFundMe is going strong. You could sign up as a member. Sorry if I'm trying to keep the shot away from the person under medical distress because I don't want to show that. I don't really know what is going on with the person, but I want to give them their privacy. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat. Lilith, $10. I've been waiting to hear the people to speak on Status Coup for weeks. Can't wait to hear what. Oh, it just disappeared. Sorry. So, and I will say, I mean, this is not anything new to me, but when you come into these protests, people are very, very suspicious of anybody with a microphone and live streaming, because they think that, because of how terrible the press usually is, if they don't know who you are, they're suspicious, which I understand. So, you got to kind of pick and choose your spots. I'm not going to try to interview people right now because there's focus on somebody who needs medical attention. But let me try to show you some of the signs. You see a sign right here, Justice for Ahmaud. Justice for Ahmaud, which is a beautiful sign. For Ahmaud Arbery, obviously. You see defund the police back here. Let me get closer. So, defund the police. Justice. A lot of people wearing masks, fortunately. And by the way, I mean, it hasn't been talked about on the news, but I think the whole social distancing thing is long gone. There hasn't been a lot of that going on. Just so you can see my getup here, I have a shield on over a normal mask. I'm trying not to get COVID again, so I got the shield going, which my girlfriend ordered. So people are probably scared of me more because I look a little strange with this shield, but gotta protect. So protests still kind of quieting down as this person is getting medical attention. Let me show you, this sign is really interesting. You got a demilitarized sign talking about the police. Well, could be talking about the police, could be talking about the military, but Let me show it to you. It's a pretty badass sign. The power of the people is stronger than the people in power. Protect who, serve who. And this is like I mean, you would expect this in New York City, but this is just a super diverse crowd. Let me try to get a little height so you could see. All right, so this gives me a good camera shot. I mean, look at all the people in this park. And I apologize, I'm more of a reporter than a cameraman, but we are getting our brand new live view insured, hopefully today. So once that's insured, Jamal will be out with me, and it will look a lot better than this. But I didn't want to bring out a brand new $24,000 live view without having it insured. We got 700 people watching, so keep on pressing that like button. Smash that like button. The more people that press like, the more people that will see the live stream. This is a beautiful crowd. I mean, you got, it looks like between 1,000 to 2,000 people, maybe more than that. I'm not good at counting. But you got thousands of people here. And make sure you share too. Jordan, the mask doesn't work if you don't wear it correctly. I understand wanting to show off the moneymaker, but be smart. Dude, I'm wearing a shield, but it's kind of hard to wear the mask too because I can't breathe with both of them. But I'll wear them just for you. So, I've been covering police brutality protests for years. I've covered police brutality in St. Louis. I've covered police brutality in Flint. I've covered police brutality in Detroit, Chicago. This is the biggest crowd I've ever seen. Huh? That I've been to? Yeah. I covered St. Louis for like a month straight. Those were big, but not this big. Somebody was just asking me, is this the biggest crowd they've ever seen? You want to talk? We're live. What are you were asking me, is this the biggest crowd you've seen? I take it you've seen bigger?
I mean, no, I was just asking. That's why I said, is it? You said you've been to a couple, so I was just,
St. Louis, there was marches for about 30 days for a black man that was murdered by police. Those are big, but not this big. What do you think of the energy in the crowd? I mean, it's a beautiful thing to see how diverse it is and energized it is.
Yeah, definitely the energy in the crowd is one to marvel. Everyone's here with a clear goal in mind. No one's trying to talk over the next one. Everyone's getting a chance to express how they're feeling. There's no real racial divide here. As you can see, it's a very, very, very interracial crowd. Like you said, just listen to everything. You hear the energy. You can hear everything. It's very genuine. I like it.
What do you think? Because we've seen the president come out talking like a military commando. He doesn't seem to care too much what the people are actually protesting about. Law and order is kind of that dog whistle racist language. And other than that, we haven't really seen much leadership from the other party. It just seems like they want law and order, but don't want to actually talk about real change as a result of these protests.
Well, first and foremost, that's actually a really good question. Politically, our country right now is a real life shitstorm. And that's from both sides. That's from Democrats as well as Republicans. As far as leadership goes, we haven't really seen any real leadership from each side. It seems as though the leaders that are in elected positions are only speaking up as the chaos ensues. So it isn't from a standpoint of actually trying to quell the situation with the actual positive intention. It's from a standpoint of trying to quell the situations because cities are on fire. So I feel as though they're purposely, intentionally missing the messages that we're out here trying to portray. And the reason is because the law allows them to. And that's where I feel as though where we need to go from here. Like that's step 2. Like we have the attention now. Now it's time to start actually really getting some legislation done, because at the end of the day, that thin blue line is a real thin blue line, and you do not cross it. Those that tend to cross it are usually exiled from police departments. In political circles, those who cross the thin red line or the thin blue line for Democrats are usually exiled and ousted from their positions. So you can understand why the politicians aren't really speaking out on it. Donald Trump, as you can hear the crowd with an explicit chant going on, himself doesn't even value this situation as itself as a whole. So you can't really expect too much going on from that standpoint. We really got to get Congress and the House of Representatives started on actual law packages that can actually reform, because political stunts, pictures, news presses, us saying what we're saying right now is not going to actually change any laws or change anything, because we were here when Trayvon died. We did the same exact thing. Like you just said, you were in St. Louis. What about Ferguson? You know, we did this already. We did the burning down city thing already. And all it does is get your attention. You tell us to stop and enforce curfews and stuff like that, and then we get nowhere. So it's time to actually start getting these things on paper, because it doesn't count if it's not on paper. That's how the United States works, unfortunately.
And I'm seeing some people start talking about hitting the elites economically, economic boycotts, economic divestment, trying to defund police departments. Other than these marches, what do you think of actual organized efforts to, whether it's boycotting Amazon, boycotting Walmart, boycotting a lot of the elites in America, because they basically buy the government. If you hit them economically, I feel like, the government, if their donors are hurt, they'll turn around and reform real quick.
You're absolutely right on that. If we take a look at our predecessors, at Dr. King and their movement, their boycotts on the bus departments and stuff like that was something that actually expedite the process. Granted, we did have the assassination of Dr. King, which led to massive riots, which also led to the civil rights reform in 1964 or 68, whichever one it was. So we had a little bit of help in regards to that. So, like you said, how we're going to do it is someone needs to actually step up and get all of the group's thoughts down. Like, I was just asking myself, what are we actually asking for? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just be sitting here screaming and yelling, and we're not genuinely asking for something. So we got to actually genuinely ask for, like I said, police legislation and actual reform, down to the laws. We actually need to see these things, because they've ignored us before, and that's what it's looking like it's happening again. So we're you know what I'm saying?
What's your name?
Tayan.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. Status Coup on YouTube. I'm live right now.
You said what?
Status Coup on YouTube. I'm live right now. Yeah. We got 900 people watching.
So, will it be available to see?
Yeah. After the live stream goes off, it'll play back.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, let me see it. Status Coup.
Status Coup.
COUP. Spread the word. So, really wise words. I didn't catch his name because it's so loud. Hey, you want to talk? Come chat. What's your name?
Ebony.
Wow, so many people here. It's a beautiful thing.
It's over 3,000 people here tonight, or today, really. We're going to be out here until 8 p.m., so make sure everybody comes support. It's Blackout Tuesday, so make sure y'all black out your social media. If you're not doing that, what the fuck are you doing?
Thanks. Wonderful words. They're still we're in Washington Square Park, by the way. So if you live in New York City, Washington Square Park, downtown Manhattan, it's right near NYU campus. I'd say it's 7 or 8 blocks from Union Square. Hold on. Keep smashing that like button, baby. We got almost 1,000 people watching. Let's get it way past 1,000. If you don't mind, leave a few super chats. Support Status Coup. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed yet. They're chanting Black Lives Matter. So it's kind of hard to tell sometimes where people are going, if they're staying, if they're marching on somewhere else. So I'm just going to follow the crowd. I apologize in advance if the videography or the camera work isn't wonderful. It's not my strong suit, but hopefully it's good enough. You got I am not disposable sign. It's powerful. You got a whole lot of white allies here. You have Asian people here, Latinos, a lot of young people, but also old people. It's a beautiful thing. Right here is the Washington Square Park Arch, kind of a historic monument in New York City. I remember when Bernie spoke here in 2016. I'll never forget it. There's two white allies. Stop killing black people. And I think what the gentleman I spoke with said is really powerful, because don't get me wrong, all of this is great, but if there's no demands, if there's no actual policy changes, then what is it for? We'll be back here in 6 months. And based on what I've seen so far, Pelosi came out earlier and said a whole lot of nothing. What else is new? All right, so it seems like they're marching. I don't know where they're marching, but I'll just follow. So right there is the entrance to Washington Square Park. So we're walking backwards. You got a lot of people live streaming right now. And I think it also should be stressed. I mean, I haven't really been hearing this discussed much in the media, but let's not forget, folks, you got thousands of people out right now marching. There's still a pandemic going on in this country. There's still a deadly virus going on. I mean, I'm not trying to fearmonger, but there's still positive, active cases of COVID going on. So it just tells you this kind of feels different. I've covered a lot of police brutality protests, and there definitely was white allies at these protests that I covered. But this time, it seems that white people are, I don't want to say just as involved or just as leading, because obviously it's a black-led movement, but white people are just as angry. And this is the first time I'm seeing white people take, in bulk, in a massive number across the country, take action. There could be a lot of reasons for that. One of them is the economic despair going on. You got 40 million people laid off. You know, different estimates, 50 million people without health insurance. So there's a lot of different factors going on, but the bottom line is you need white people involved in this movement. Black people need to lead the movement, but white people need to be involved for sure. So let me show you. You got I Can't Breathe. And by the way, I've gotten so many emails and direct messages in the last few days, people telling me about police brutality they witnessed at rallies around the country, some sending me video. I mean, I can't respond to everyone, but the very thing these people are protesting, you have seen on sickening display over the last few days. Again, Philadelphia, or I don't know where it was in Pennsylvania, a woman was on the ground kneeling and a cop just kicked her in the face. A white man shot and killed a black man in, I think it was Louisville, Kentucky the other day. That white man there will be no charges against him. Oh, is that, I don't know, Jen, I forget, was that Louisville or Omaha? I forgot which one. That was Sean. Now they're saying hands up, don't shoot. So right now they're walking south, I think towards Houston Street. What do you think of the energy out here right now?
It's crazy. It's unmatched. It's unreal. This is New York. This is what we're about. You gotta stand up for what you believe in. This is the time where you need to stand up and take action. Post, repost, donate, walk, protest, do whatever you can. This is insane and this is not right. We will have justice. One day we will have justice. And we're not gonna fight for nothing. You're gonna stand for something and fall for nothing, okay? Fall for anything. Let's go.
Thanks, Ben. Powerful. And I hope you can hear what they're saying. Obviously, people are wearing masks. Thanks for the $20. Keep those super chats coming. We got 1,000 people watching. 1,000 people watching. So keep on pressing the like button, press the share button. Sorry.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
Let me know if the microphone is okay now. Somebody mentioned the microphone. By the way, if you don't know, what's up? Ah, you're watching yourself. Isn't that cool? I just interviewed this guy, and now he's watching himself back. Yeah. Again, I've covered a lot of police brutality protests. There's an energy about this that's different. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just different. And by the way, if you guys don't know, you could support us for as low as 16 cents a day. That's a New York City bus. Tyrone. All right, now I got his name. Thank you. That's a New York City buses honking in solidarity with the protesters. You got cars honking, buses honking. Beautiful thing. I've never been to New York City. It feels like we are here. I'm glad. Look at all these cars. They're all honking in solidarity with the protesters. How do you feel with all these cars honking in solidarity?
I'm sorry?
How do you feel with all these cars honking in solidarity? It's a lot of great energy out here.
It is. It shows that New York City loves us. And that, like, it's just, it's like that sound that everyone knows. We're here for it. We're tired. We're ready. We want to move forward. This is a type of revolution right now that's happening that's going to be in the history books more to come. And if they try to erase that, we will fight. And we will continue to stand up for what is right. Because I know I'm tired. I know my brothers and my sisters are tired. My friends, my mother is tired. My grandmother sat there one day right before she passed away and said, you know what? I'm about to leave and something's about to happen. Now, I don't know how many people are superstitious like that, but I think she knew something. And seeing this right now, I see why. So, New York City, I love y'all. Let's go! Whole streets! Our streets! Whole streets! Our streets! Whole streets!
I hope you could hear him. I hope you could hear him. I think he said it best. Let's go! Let's go! Beautiful. So right now, they're walking on 13th Street and 5th Avenue. You know, I keep saying I hope you could hear him because the microphone light keeps going red and green, red and green. So it's also not easy to interview people under their shields. You don't want to like get up in their grill and knock them in the shield, but you also want to get their voice. Woo! And let me tell you guys, I mean, I'm no robot journalist. I don't pretend to be neutral, but I also try not to get caught up in moments either, so I could keep calm and just show you what's going on. But I'm telling you, I'm getting consumed by this. It's beautiful. You also got to remember, we're all human beings, right? A lot of people in New York City, in Chicago, LA, Portland, Detroit, Flint, Milwaukee, Dallas, all these places that are protesting, DC, they've been holed up. There you go. He's energized.
Black Lives Matter.
This energy out here is like something I haven't seen in a long time. What do you think?
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see people come together. Like I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I love it. It's so beautiful.
You think you saw the president yesterday with his whole Law and Order Act?
Right.
It seems like they're kind of missing or intentionally missing what the protests are about.
Right. It's about people coming together. Have you ever seen anything like this? This gives me so much hope. This gives me so much hope.
Does this feel different than other protests? Because we've obviously had other protests for.
I haven't been to too many protests. I've been to like one other, maybe like 4 years ago. But this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I love it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So you're hearing a lot of similar things from people that this is just beautiful, different than other protests they've been to. Wow, we got it. Jordan, talk softer. Are you saying I talk too loud, sir? All right, I'll talk softer. All right, so now they are going to Union Square. Just so you know, a little behind the scenes, 2 nights ago, I tried to go live. I first went to Times Square, nobody was there. Then I went to Union Square, nobody's there. Then I'm told, go to Manhattan Bridge. That's where the people are, nobody there. I literally went from Times Square to Union Square to Manhattan Bridge, then back to Union Square, then back to Times Square, and I got one interview out of it. So some nights are just busted, but at least I found it today. This is a beautiful thing. I mean, you're talking thousands of people that are out right now. Thousands of people. Hold on. Sorry about that. The gain of the microphone seems to want to keep moving. Jen, let me know if that's better. I just moved it back. Get exercise at least. I'm getting exercise, all right. Beautiful. Beautiful exercise. And you, by the way, if you don't know, we got our GoFundMe going as well. So if you got a couple bucks, you could drop it there. We're less than $4,000 away from our ultimate goal. You also have, you got vehicles, parked vehicles getting into it. Justice for George Floyd. And, obviously George Floyd's name has been getting a lot of attention, but around the same time, you have Breonna Taylor in Louisville that was shot dead. She was sleeping when police went in and shot her dead. They were looking for somebody else. You also obviously have Ahmaud Arbery. For those OG Status Coup viewers, you know I went down to Dallas last year. We covered the execution of Botham John, a 26-year-old black man who was shot. He was just hanging out in his apartment in Dallas one night. He was actually from the Caribbean. He came to America for college. And he was shot dead by a white police officer who claimed she thought it was her apartment because she lived in the building. Fortunately, she was convicted. There was, some media coverage, not enough in my view. Let me know if the volume is better now. I was in St. Louis years ago covering the police murder of Anthony Lamar Scott. He was a black man that was murdered by police. Literally, a white cop was caught on tape saying, "I'm going to kill this motherfucker, you watch." And then he killed him, and that white cop got off. So, it's not just George Floyd. This is years and years and years. And God knows how many black men we don't know their names that didn't get any media attention. I've been at protests, police brutality protests, and mothers have come up to me telling me about their son who was killed or their nephew who was killed by police, and it never got attention. So these protests, it's not just for George Floyd. It's for a whole lot of black men who have senselessly lost their lives, and the police who have been able to do it, and for the most part, get away with it. You see that sign, white silence equals consent. You got the protests, and this is kind of cool. You have people on the side handing out bandages, hand sanitizer, water. So there's a lot of solidarity, not just the people protesting, but the people trying to provide food to the protesters, water to the protesters, hand sanitizer. Here you have a little circle of protesters. Keep pressing the like button, by the way. It helps us get this to more people. The like button is right under the video. Smash that like button. Thanks for the super chats. Sorry if I'm not reading them. It's kind of hard to shoot and read super chats at the same time. You got people on the side with their hands up. It's a beautiful thing. By the way, if you've been watching, we've been reporting. We've had a reporter in Minneapolis. We were there when the 3rd police precinct was overrun. We've had a reporter in Los Angeles, Tina Desiree Burr went live for us. Well, she couldn't get live because they were jamming the signals. But if you watch that video, it's up on the channel. It looks like, it looks like Baghdad or Gaza, not America. Jen was in DC. She got tear gas. She got pushed to the ground by police. You saw, if you were watching live, we didn't even know what happened to her. Her phone went to the ground when the police pushed her. Thank God she was okay. And obviously I'm here in New York, so we're trying to cover this all over the country with, the bare resources we have. Thank you, Beth, $20. Appreciate it.
Hands up! Hands up!
You got a sign here comparing Hitler and Trump. So that's interesting. I mean, I usually refer to Trump as a doofus, but I think what we saw from Trump yesterday was full-on fascist, talking about law and order. I'm going to bring out the military. We're gonna, show, own the streets. The language he was using, by the way, during his speech, as his National Guard and police force were tear gassing peaceful protesters. I mean, his talk and actions right now are full-on fascist. It's unacceptable. I wish we had a real opposition party to go after Trump, but we don't. Nancy Pelosi came out this morning, and I think she read the Bible or something. I didn't see it. But no talk from Democrats about actual reform. No talk from Democrats about passing actual legislation to rein in the police. No talk from Democrats about passing legislation to actually pump investment dollars into these communities. Just a lot of talk from Democrats about how terrible Trump is. Pretty much what we've seen for years.
George Floyd! 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 George Floyd!
And for those of you that don't know, you could support Status Coup on a monthly basis. It's our long-term business model. Sign up, statuscoup.com/join. Statuscoup.com/join. As humbly as I could say, I don't see a lot of other independent outlets out in the field, in the trenches, with the people like we are. And if you guys could excuse me for 1 second, the screen is going to go to the ground. I got to tie my shoes. Hold on. All right. Thank you. So here we go. We're on 15th Street and 3rd Avenue in New York City. This is like enough exercise for me for the month. It's a lot of damn exercise. Holy cow. Let me know if you could hear, because I know there's been some issues with the audio. Somebody said my office is coming through. You got people saying hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. Let me tell you something. It ain't easy to get full on New York City blocks and just take them. And that's what the protesters have done. They are just walking up full on New York City blocks. Jordan is getting his steps in, that's for sure. I wish I was one of those cool kids who had, what do they call those things where you could see how many miles you walked? That armband. Keep pressing that like button, keep sharing. Tonight in New York City, the curfew is at 8 o'clock. They had a curfew last night at 11 o'clock. I don't think the majority of people followed it. I also don't think, somebody said I gotta pee. I've had to pee for about 45 minutes. That's the thing you guys don't get about going live. You gotta hold in your pees, your sneezes. If you're hungry, you're screwed. But I do it for the people. You gotta wait to pee for justice. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let me try to get a little closer.
So you heard? So right now they're stopping for traffic. I guess even a protest has to stop for traffic. Some people are saying to hell with the traffic, just walk through it. So for those of you that are in New York, want to join, we're at 17th Street, 3rd Avenue, walking north. Not sure where they're walking, but they're walking. So 17th and 3rd Avenue right now in New York City. Still got a couple thousand people walking, which is great. Let me. And what's really been incredible is just seeing, you've seen like here and there some police doing the right thing, bending a knee with protesters. In Flint, the sheriff marched with protesters, but that's been the rare exceptions. Ironically, the very thing that these protesters are protesting for, the police have been displaying on steroids the last couple days. I mean, it's just unbelievable the amount of brutality we've seen from police, from shooting people with rubber bullets point blank range. Take it from me, in Standing Rock, you can get killed from a rubber bullet. If a rubber bullet gets shot in your face, point blank range, that could rip through your scalp, brain damage, the whole nine. It could kill you too. Tear gas. We've seen police in DC yesterday were literally just punching a journalist, a cameraman. I don't know who he was with. So, and it's also a great thing to see. We're starting to see these protests pop up globally. I think there was a protest in New Zealand, if I'm remembering correctly. London. And somebody just brought up, still, the 3 other police officers that were involved in the George Floyd murder that were just standing there are still not in prison, are still not in jail, still no charges, nada. Oh, protests in Sydney last night. Jordan, get their signs. All right. I Can't Breathe, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, Justice Now is in front of me. White silence is violence. Hold on one sec. I think that's a really powerful sign, because I think that's what makes this protest and these protests around the country really interesting. The fact that white people are now starting to get in aggressively and view themselves as having to take it upon themselves to make a moral stand. No justice, no peace. The march is quieted down a little bit, but still pretty strong. And by the way, if you don't know, stores are still closed in New York City. Other than like curbside pickup for most stores, businesses have not opened in New York City from COVID. This woman here, when do my children become a threat? Defund the police. You're seeing a lot of signs for defunding the police. Can you hear us now?
George Floyd!
Let me see what's going on here. So there's a little bit of a standoff here with protesters and police. So you see the row of cops here, and protesters right up on them.
Breonna Taylor!
So they're screaming, they're chanting Black Lives Matter, they're chanting Breonna Taylor, and like we've seen in other places, police are just quiet. And now they're kneeling. Now they're kneeling to the ground. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, we got 1,300 people watching right now. That's an awesome audience. Press the like button. Let's get this out to more people. I do not see CNN here, so. And the and you know, it's amazing. So the protesters are asking the police to take a knee. The police are not having it at all.
Take a knee. Yes.
Welcome, new Status Coup member Chelsea just signed up. Keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join. You could support us for as low as $5 a month. You're not only supporting independent journalism, you get monthly behind-the-scenes video calls with myself and Jen. Oh, look at this. So one officer just took a knee.
Take a knee. Take a knee. Take a knee. Take a knee. Take a knee.
That's really something. One officer took a knee, and the rest of the officers just watched him.
Especially your black ass. You should have been took a knee.
So that's one out of looks like 24, maybe. 1 out of 24. You got to start somewhere. That guy in the white uniform does not look happy, because the police generally don't like their shit being called out, but they don't have a choice right now. And I don't know. There's definitely over 100 people right now in this little corner here on 20th Street and 3rd Avenue. They were chanting, "How do you spell racist? How do you spell racist?" What do you guys think about the police not doing the most basic thing, which is showing the protesters respect?
I don't give a fuck what they do. Period.
So I just asked that, said I don't care what they do. So if you're not here, similar to Standing Rock, hey, welcome new member Tracy. Tracy just signed up as a Status Coup member. StatusCout.com/join. Join us for $5 a month. Somebody's burning sage, which is a wonderful thing. They did that a lot at Standing Rock when I was there. So for you Native American viewers, we got some sage going. They're saying hands up, don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot. So far, in about 15 minutes, one cop has kneeled. There's probably 24 cops here.
Officer Coyle, look at what side you're on. Look at what side you're choosing.
Contrary to the other day, all right, so the protesters are starting to move again and march. They're still chanting NYPD, suck my dick. So. There's still, I mean, you're talking thousands of people are in the street right now in downtown Manhattan. They're still right there with the police.
Suck my dick! Suck my dick! Suck my dick!
What do you think of the cops? What do you think of the cops not kneeling, not showing any respect for the protesters at all?
About the what?
What do you think about the cops refusing to kneel, not showing any respect at all for the protesters?
Every cop is everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So whatever people want to do, that's on them. Obviously, we have our own agenda, and no one's agenda is right. But all we want is unity, and all we want is our voices to be heard.
Thanks, man. So that's one person. Stay here. Woo. So some people are starting to march again. Some people are still back here with the police. So seems like police cars are coming this way now. So that's an ambulance coming through. All right, so protest marching up north. We're on 21st Street and 3rd Avenue. And what's been really remarkable, honestly, is how organized these protests have been. A lot of times in communities I've been, protests are pretty disorganized, chaotic, but you have a couple protest leaders that are really organized and basically, screaming out and commanding, let's go, stop, move away from the cops, let's start marching again. So you got this guy playing Superman. I think Superman, but I'm not sure. Star Wars? All right. Shows my pop culture. That was Star Wars. I thought Superman. Nah, you guys can make fun of me. I've only seen Star Wars once. One of the last ones. I went with my dad. I never saw the first ones. Maybe I should. So you got hands up, don't shoot. Maybe don't use the force. Keep pressing that like button. The more people that press the like button, the more people that will see the live stream. Press the share button. Leave a super chat if you can. It helps support us. We got our GoFundMe going too. Jen will put the link in. Tell you, man, the energy here is amazing. The energy here is amazing. Jordan ain't got no time to watch movies. I do watch movies. I just haven't seen Star Wars. I'll get on that. So it looks like the protest is moving a little bit west on 23rd Street here, possibly to Madison Square Park is my guess. So you keep seeing people honking in solidarity. It's a good thing. Right here you see people out of their cars. Solidarity. So you got, looks like kids showing their support, justice, banging on the window. That is sweet. Even the kids are getting involved. Even the kids are getting involved. It's wonderful. The solidarity is everywhere. It's wonderful. And the thing is, you don't really see, from what I've seen, you see far less of this kind of coverage. You see far less of this kind of coverage on CNN, on MSNBC. you see the looters and the fires and this kind of stuff, but they don't march with the protesters, the peaceful protesters, to hear their message.
Black Lives Matter!
There you go. What do you think of the energy right now at this march?
He said, what I think of the energy right now. Sorry.
What do you think of the energy right now? It's amazing here.
I think it's good. I think that we're tired of being oppressed. And if this is what it's going to take to get our voices heard, then so be it. We're tired. Our brothers and sisters, they're killing us. Not even just police, but in hospitals. Even when we're in the hospital, we don't get the fair treatment. That's why we die more at frequent rates, because they kill us. They don't care about us. Our pain is never understood. They don't care about it. It's tired. It's tiring. This whole thing is tiring. I'm only 20 years old, and I see it, and I've seen it since Trayvon Martin died when I was 12, and it's exhausting. And every single time it happens again and again and again, and we're tired, and we're not gonna stop. We're not gonna be silenced, and we're done being oppressed. And that's it.
What's your name?
Denasia.
Thank you. 12 years old. 12 years old she was when Trayvon Martin was killed. And it's still going on. Still going on. Beautiful words. Amen, sister. I agree. And by the way, I just saw somebody put this in the live chat. The focus isn't on this, but let's also say our indigenous brothers and sisters have also been brutalized by police, brutalized by the government. Latinos as well. So obviously black lives are the thing we're focused on now, but we definitely are seeing police brutality in other communities as well. Indigenous, Latino. We've also seen an increase in hate crimes against Asians in light of coronavirus. The bottom line is, and I've heard it time and time again, police are the biggest gang on planet Earth. Doesn't mean they're all bad. Obviously, no group is all bad or all good, but until we change, until there is actual penalties, until there is actual deterrence, until there's police know that their aggression, even the microaggressions, will not be acceptable, I think these people are not going to leave the streets. I think you're going to see this more and more. And frankly, I think you might even see the makings and the beginnings of a general strike here in America. Because I think people are fed up. I really do. I just got a low battery. I hope it keeps going. I have a Mophie on. Let me see if my Mophie is working. Hold on a second. I'm going to try and turn on my Mophie. All right, I don't know the deal. I don't know why my Mophie's not working. So I'm just gonna go till my phone dies. Stay with me. You got I Can't Breathe. I Can't Breathe. People chanting George Floyd, George Floyd. Say her name, say their names. George Floyd, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin, Philando Castile, Sandra Bland, Walter Scott, Terrence Crutcher, Ahmaud Arbery. Disgusting how many names. And before my phone dies, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go home. I don't know why the Mophie's not working, but I'm going to go home, charge my phone again. I'll probably be back at it a little bit later. Definitely join our text list to make sure you get a text when we're live. You could text COUP to 370-370. That's COUP to 370-370. That way you'll get a text message when we're live next. Also, if you haven't joined us yet, what are you doing? statuscoup.com/join for more in the field, in the trenches reporting. It costs $5 a month to join us as a member. You get bonus content, behind the scenes videos. We're doing our monthly members call next week. So we'd love to have you. This is how we grow. We take no money from bankers, no money from the fossil fuckers, no money from big pharma, no money from big real estate, no money from the defense industry, no money from Silicon Valley. We are supported by you, the people. 16 cents a day, $5 a month. Obviously, if you can't, we get it. Tough times economically. But for those who can, there's a lot of other outlets that like to ask you for your money. They call themselves progressives and radicals and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Fuck 12, for real. Real talk, man. They treating us disrespectfully, and it's about time that we make a movement, man. A better future is tomorrow if we make an impact on it today. You heard? Let's do it.
What do you think about the police not kneeling before, not showing respect to the protesters by kneeling?
Man, fuck the police, man. Real talk, they only just trying to make a statement that they ain't really doing nothing real quick. Real talk, they ain't doing nothing real quick. That kneeling shit, it's nothing. Real talk, they gotta take matters now, man, into their own hands right now. You feel me? It's all about it, man. Black Lives Matter, man. Keep the movement going.
Thank you. So you heard it there. Fuck the police. Hear that a lot. Some people aren't comfortable with that kind of talk. But at the end of the day, these folks have tried nonviolent protests for years and years and years and gotten nowhere. So I think right now, although a lot of the protests are peaceful, I'd say the majority of the protests are peaceful. There's other parts that are more forceful. And you know what? I am not condoning it, but I also understand it. The other thing is, if you've been watching, we have a GoFundMe going. This is how we stay afloat in the short term. We have had a lot of expenses, and we've also lost business because of the coronavirus. So if you got a couple bucks, drop it in the GoFundMe. I don't know what we're at now, but before I went live, we were less than $4,000 away from our ultimate goal of $110,000 raised. To be clear, we do not have $110,000. We've spent a lot of it on reporting. We've been all over the country, as you know. Chicago, Flint, Dallas, Seattle, DC, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, California, Michigan, Canada. We've been all around the country thanks to you. But we've got a lot more places to go. When the coast is clear, I do want to go to Navajo Nation. I think that's important to show how coronavirus has just devastated the indigenous community there. I'd like to go down to Georgia, cover the ongoing inaction, I would say, in relation to the Ahmaud Arbery case. And there's a lot of other stories we want to cover. Unfortunately, we can't print money out of our ass like the federal government does for war. So we got to raise it from you, the people. So when my battery dies, I'm going to go home, charge up my battery, probably go back out again. Obviously, as night comes, it's a little bit more dicey. There's an 8 o'clock curfew here in New York City. Not sure how much that will be followed, so that will be interesting to see. De Blasio, as the mayor of New York City, has gotten a lot of criticism for the way New York City police has been acting. We saw a video a couple days ago of a New York City police officer literally running over protesters. De Blasio kind of did the Trump thing, that there's good people on both sides instead of condemning the police officer. So that's the deal. And for those of you that are in New York City and want to join the protesters, right now we're on 29th Street and Park Avenue. So my guess is they're marching to Times Square, but that's my guess. I'm not sure. And by the way, police are basically trailing the protesters and trying to get ahead of the protesters in every way they can. So they try to get in front of the protesters, get to the next location before the protesters get there. Most of the time they're guessing where the protesters are going next. So, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please, please, please subscribe. We're almost at 81,000 subscribers. So we're finally growing. By the way, if there's stuff going on in your neck of the woods, if you're seeing police brutality where you are, if you're seeing black men harassed or beaten, if you're seeing journalists harassed or beaten, email us, info@statuscoup.com, info@statuscoup.com. If you have compelling video that you shot at a protest, email us at info@statuscoup.com. We definitely can't respond to everybody because we get a lot of emails, but, we try to get out as much as we can. So, info@statuscoup.com. We're also on Instagram. You can follow us there, instagram.com/statuscoup. And for those of you following at home, we've gone from Washington Square Park downtown, and now we're in Midtown. Got people hanging out their windows here. Oh wow! I used to work at this building. How about that? This is Park Avenue, New York City. A lot of wealthy people live here, work here. Thousands of people marching. It's really unbelievable. Beautiful. Walking uptown. 32nd and Park. My guess, you know what they're probably doing? They're probably going to Bryant Park next. Bryant Park is 42nd and 6th Avenue, and then going over to Times Square. So I'm really pissed off because I have my phone in my Mophie, but for some reason my Mophie is not working even though I charged it. So I thought I was going to have more battery, but I will go home, I will charge, and then hopefully get back out. Let me tell you something. It is, now I'm at 10% battery. It is very hard. Once you are gone from the protest, once you've left, it is very hard to find where they are. The other night I was going around all over New York City trying to find where the core march was. And there's a gazillion people tweeting, hey, go here, they're here, or they're there. And then you go there and they're gone. So I'm glad I got to see this today. And I hope you're enjoying it too. I love comments that say, I feel like we're there with you. That's the whole point of us broadcasting in the field, in the trenches. And you see people still on the side of the street with Purell, with masks, with water. So there's solidarity all over New York City right now. And by the way, this is just Manhattan. You got the protests going on in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. You got protests going on in Queens and the Bronx. So this is not just in Manhattan. And by the way, let's remember, A lot of people protesting right now have been laid off, no health care. So there's a lot of different struggles right now kind of converging all in one protest. Obviously, the dominant protest is about police brutality. And by the way, I don't want to make any promises, but we believe that we will have our brand new live view. For those of you that don't know, because of your generous donations, we were able to purchase a brand new live view, which is the technical device that we use to broadcast when we're live. Obviously, I'm not using it right now. This is my phone. But our live view 600, which is worth a hell of a lot of money, $24,000. That's why I'm on my phone, because we just got the live view, but we hadn't got it insured yet. And I did not want to bring out a brand new live view in a protest where cops are beating up journalists, because if the live view got damaged or broken or whatever, we'd be fucked. So right now, beautiful. Right here you have a little circle of protesters getting, I think, they're handing out shields and masks and all that good stuff. What I was saying is we should have our live view insured hopefully today. We're just in the back end with the application and getting everything settled. So once it's insured, Jamal, who's been doing camera work for us for the last couple months, will be out with me in the field with the live view, which is going to look a lot better than this, I promise. So thanks for your patience and watching me on my phone. It might not be the best camera work, but hopefully you've been able to see everything going on. And, I'm not going to lie. You had the governor of New York calling out the police and the mayor today, saying that they didn't do their job last night, which is kind of ridiculous. But I would expect to see the police ratchet up the brutality tonight here in New York City. I think you're going to see a lot more police guarding the most prominent businesses and luxury stores to prevent from looting. I think you're going to probably see police cracking some skulls, to be honest with you. I think you're probably going to see police unleashing tear gas because the governor Cuomo, who the media has made into some resistance hero, even though he's a neoliberal scumbag, but I digress. Cuomo, such a hero, trying to cut Medicaid by $2.5 billion during a pandemic, but that's a different story. With the governor calling out the police and Mayor de Blasio, I think they're going to try and ratchet up the temperature, so to speak. So, folks, last call, because I think my phone's about to die. Definitely share this live stream. If you haven't subscribe to this channel. Word of mouth is also important, so if you could spread the word, tell your friends, tell your family. It doesn't even matter if your friends are progressive, I think we got something for everybody. We got something for progressives. We got something for libertarians, conservatives. I do have some conservatives say I don't agree with you, but I like what you cover. I like what you stand for, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if neoliberals would like us, but definitely share this. Tell your friends to subscribe. YouTube does censor us. YouTube does suppress us. So your help is very, very appreciated with getting the word out. If you missed it, I did an interview yesterday with NFL running back Justin Jackson. He's a running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. He had amazing things to say about the protests, about Trump, called Biden a racist. He had words to say about Colin Kaepernick. Welcome, new Status Coup member Nestor just signed up. Woohoo! Yeah, that too. For those of you who haven't signed up as a member, sign up. Statuscoup.com/join. It makes a huge difference. The more people that sign up as members, the more we could fund this reporting in the field permanently. And we don't have to rely on GoFundMes or anything like that. So keep signing up, statuscoup.com/join. Obviously, if you can't support us financially, we understand tough times for everybody. But if you can, it makes a big difference. As humbly as I could say, there's a lot of outlets that talk and ask you to become members and have wonderful marketing and catchphrases about themselves being rebels and the revolution and blah, blah, blah. And then they basically talk about Trump 24/7 from a nice studio. I think we are showing what true independent, in the trenches, in the field journalism could look like. So hopefully you could support us, statuscoup.com/join. We appreciate it. And it's really nice. I mean, this is a long march. You're talking probably a couple miles people are marching today. We're now in Midtown. They started downtown. They're going all the way up, I think, to the Upper East Side. So people are getting their steps in, for sure. Battery might die at any moment, so definitely hit that GoFundMe. The link has been put in. GoFundMes are appreciated. Subscribe, all that good stuff. And check out the other videos, because you might have not seen us post interviews we did with Justin Jackson, Philip Agnew. I'm working on getting Nina Turner. I think we'll be able to interview her soon again. So we're bringing the content, we're bringing the news. Woo! Man, I am gonna pee for 20 minutes. I gotta pee so bad. TMI. So right now we're on 37th Street and 3rd Avenue. If you're in New York City and want to join, they're marching uptown. New York City, you got this car right here, no justice, no peace. And there's been quite a few vehicles, I guess you could say, marching with the protesters. Just so you know, this is how I rock the protests. With a shield. I should put my mask on, but it's hard to breathe. So a shield and a mask. This is the new form of journalism, because there is still the pandemic going on. Woo! So, and you got people still on we've seen people banging on their windows, little kids with signs saying justice from their windows. So the whole city is really getting involved. I like that face protection. Where can I get one? My girlfriend ordered them. I'm not sure where she ordered them from, but they're wonderful. She always orders the right stuff. But you should get it. It's a lot more comfortable. Right now we are at 38th Street and 3rd Avenue. 38th Street and 3rd Avenue. This is what they call Murray Hill. Murray Hill. And like I said in the beginning of this protest, it's really, really diverse. You have black people, white people, Asians, Latinos. I've seen a lot of different types of people. Mostly young people, but some middle-aged people too. Right now they're on 39th Street and 3rd Avenue, marching up. I've had to pee for about an hour, so that should be fun. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for chatting, for commenting, for super chatting, for all those things. GoFundMe. We've gotten a few new members. It's super exciting. So don't let CNN, MSNBC, and all these Twitter pundits tell you that, it's a bunch of looters and rioters and animals.
No, there's a lot of peaceful protesters out. A lot of peaceful protesters out. And there's always going to be some looting and things like that in all protests. And you want to know something? I'm not condoning it, but you got to understand why people are angry. This is beyond an emergency in this country for black people. This is beyond an epidemic, a crisis. People of all colors need to be able to leave their homes and feel safe. Frankly, people need to be able to live in their homes and feel safe, because now black people are being murdered just sleeping in the middle of the night with police gunning them down. Breonna Taylor in Kentucky, Botham Jean in Dallas were both in their apartments and murdered by police. Can I bring you a battery? As long as you're not bringing anything else. I'm on 41st Street and 3rd Avenue, so find me in a Shield. If you got a battery for me, come bring it.